Ultimate formula for success. Thomas J. Watson said, "Would you like me to give you a formula for success? It's quite simple, really. Double your rate of failure. You are thinking of failure as the enemy of success, but it isn't at all. You can be discouraged by failure, or you can learn from it. So go ahead and make mistakes. Make all you can, because remember, that's where you will find success." Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to speak about a concept that may sound counterintuitive at first, but is, in fact, one of the most profound truths in the pursuit of success. This idea, eloquently captured by Thomas J. Watson, challenges our deepest fears and societal conditioning. It urges us to embrace something that we have been taught to avoid, something that many of us fear more than anything else: failure. Success is a goal we all strive for, whether in our personal lives, careers, or businesses. We chase after it, plan meticulously for it, and often, we do everything within our power to avoid failure on this path. But what if I told you that avoiding failure might actually be the very thing that is holding you back from achieving true success? What if, instead, you should be doubling your rate of failure? It sounds strange, doesn't it? After all, who wants to fail? But Watson's words carry a message that is as powerful as it is unconventional. Failure is not the enemy of success. It is, in fact, the cornerstone of it. Today I invite you to explore this radical notion with me, to dig deep into why failure is not only necessary but desirable if you truly want to succeed. There are two serious misconceptions of failure. First, societal perception of failure. From a young age, we are conditioned to fear failure. In school, we are taught to strive for perfect scores, to avoid mistakes at all costs. As we grow older, this mindset is reinforced by society. Success is celebrated, while failure is often hidden, whispered about in corners, or worse, ignored altogether. We are taught that failure is something to be ashamed of, something that diminishes our worth or potential. But why is this? Why do we, as a society, view failure so negatively? The answer lies in our deep-seated fear of judgment and rejection. Failure often brings with it a sense of inadequacy, a fear that others will see us as less capable or less worthy. This fear drives us to play it safe, to avoid risks, and to stick to the familiar. It keeps us within the confines of our comfort zones, where the chances of failure are minimal. However, this mindset is fundamentally flawed. By avoiding failure, we are also avoiding growth. We are limiting ourselves to experiences and opportunities that are within our grasp, rather than reaching for the extraordinary. We are choosing mediocrity over greatness, safety over innovation, and stagnation over progress. Second, the paradox of success. Now, let's examine the paradox of success. Society often portrays success as a smooth, linear journey, a path that, if followed correctly, will lead to prosperity, recognition, and happiness. This portrayal is everywhere, from the stories of entrepreneurs who seemingly built empires overnight to the celebrities whose lives appear to be a string of uninterrupted triumphs. But here's the truth. Real success is rarely, if ever, linear. The reality is that most success stories are riddled with failures, setbacks, and moments of doubt. The path to success is more like a winding road filled with unexpected turns, detours, and dead ends. It is a journey that tests not only your skills and talents, but also your resilience, determination, and willingness to keep going in the face of adversity. Take, for example, the story of Thomas Edison, one of the greatest inventors in history. Edison is famous for inventing the light bulb, but what many people don't know is that he failed thousands of times before he finally succeeded. When asked about his failures, Edison famously replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison understood that each failure brought him one step closer to success. He knew that failure was not the end, but a necessary part of the process. The same can be said for countless other successful individuals across various fields. From athletes to artists, entrepreneurs to scientists, the most successful people are often those who have failed the most. They have faced rejection, criticism, and numerous obstacles. But what sets them apart is not an unbroken chain of successes, but their resilience in the face of failure. They understand that failure is not a roadblock, but a stepping stone on the path to success. Reframing failure as a stepping stone. Number 1, learning from failure. So how do we shift our perspective on failure? How do we move from seeing it as a source of shame to recognizing it as a powerful tool for growth? The answer lies in understanding the value of failure. Each failure provides us with unique insights that success cannot. When we succeed, we often attribute our success to our talents, skills, or hard work. But when we fail, We are forced to confront our weaknesses, to analyze what went wrong, and to learn from our mistakes. This process of learning from failure is what drives true growth. It sharpens our understanding, enhances our problem-solving abilities, and helps us develop resilience. It is through failure that we discover what doesn't work, and in doing so, we gain clarity on what does. Failure, therefore, is not a setback, but a powerful feedback loop that guides us towards success. Consider the story of Michael Jordan, widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Jordan is celebrated for his incredible talent and numerous achievements, but he is also known for his failures. In his own words, Jordan said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times. I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Jordan's success was not the result of a flawless career, but of his willingness to fail and to learn from each failure. He understood that every missed shot, every lost game, was an opportunity to improve, to refine his skills, and to build the mental toughness needed to succeed at the highest level. Jordan's story is a powerful reminder that failure is not the enemy of success, but a critical component of it. Number 2, some historical examples. Let's take a moment to reflect on some of the most iconic figures in history, individuals who have left an indelible mark on the world through their achievements. Many of these individuals are celebrated today for their successes, but their journeys were anything but smooth. In fact, their paths were often paved with failures, rejections, and setbacks that would have discouraged most people. One such figure is Walt Disney, the visionary behind the Disney Empire. Today, Disney is synonymous with imagination, creativity, and success, but Walt Disney's early career was filled with failures. He was fired from a newspaper job because his editor felt he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Later, he started a company called Laugh-O-Gram Studios, which eventually went bankrupt. Despite these setbacks, Disney persevered. He continued to dream, to create, and to innovate. His resilience in the face of failure ultimately led to the creation of one of the most successful and beloved entertainment companies in the world. Another example is J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before Rowling became one of the best-selling authors in history, she faced numerous rejections. Her manuscript for the first Harry Potter book was rejected by 12 different publishers. Rowling was a single mother living on welfare at the time, and it would have been easy for her to give up. But she didn't. She believed in her story, and she continued to submit her manuscript until it was finally accepted. Today, the Harry Potter series has sold over 500 million copies worldwide and has been adapted into a blockbuster film franchise. These stories highlight an important truth. Failure is not the end of the road. It is a detour, a necessary part of the journey that ultimately leads to success. The individuals who achieve greatness are not those who avoid failure, but those who embrace it, learn from it, and use it as fuel to keep moving forward. The power of resilience. If there is one quality that distinguishes those who succeed from those who do not, it is resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from failure, to pick yourself up after a setback, and to keep going even when the odds are against you. It is the understanding that failure is not a reflection of your worth, but an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more determined. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is something you develop over time. It is a skill that is honed through experience, particularly through the experience of failure. The more you fail, the more resilient you become. Each failure teaches you something new about yourself, about your strengths and weaknesses, and about the world around you. It builds your character, strengthens your resolve, and prepares you for the challenges that lie ahead. Consider the story of Nelson Mandela, one of the most revered leaders in modern history. Mandela spent 27 years in prison for his role in the fight against apartheid in South Africa. During those long years of imprisonment, he could have given up. He could have become bitter, angry, or defeated. But Mandela chose a different path. He used his time in prison to reflect, to learn, and to strengthen his resolve. When he was finally released, he emerged not as a broken man, but as a leader who would go on to guide South Africa through a peaceful transition to democracy. Mandela's story is a powerful example of resilience in the face of adversity. It shows us that no matter how many times we fail, no matter how many setbacks we encounter, we have the power to rise above them. We have the power to turn our failures into opportunities for growth, and in doing so, to achieve success that is not only meaningful, but lasting. Developing a growth mindset. To embrace failure as a stepping stone to success, we must cultivate what psychologist Carol Dweck calls a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that our abilities, intelligence, and talents are not fixed traits but can be developed and improved through effort, learning, and perseverance. People with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities to grow, and they view failure not as a reflection of their abilities, but as a necessary part of the learning process. In contrast, a fixed mindset is the belief that our abilities are static and unchangeable. People with a fixed mindset tend to avoid challenges because they fear failure. They believe that if they fail, it means they are not smart or talented enough, and they often give up when they encounter obstacles. Developing a growth mindset is key to embracing failure and using it as a tool for success. It involves changing the way we think about our abilities and the way we respond to challenges. Instead of seeing failure as a sign that we are not good enough, we can choose to see it as a valuable opportunity to learn and grow. We can approach challenges with curiosity and a willingness to learn, rather than with fear and self-doubt. One way to cultivate a growth mindset is to focus on the process, rather than the outcome. When we are overly focused on the outcome, whether it's getting a promotion, winning a competition, or achieving a specific goal, we are more likely to fear failure because we see it as a reflection of our worth. But when we focus on the process, on learning, improving, and giving our best effort, we are more likely to embrace failure as a natural part of the journey. Another important aspect of developing a growth mindset is embracing the concept of yet. When we encounter a challenge that we cannot overcome, it's easy to say, "I can't do this." But by adding the word yet, we shift our perspective. "I can't do this yet." This simple shift in language opens the door to possibility. It reminds us that our abilities are not fixed, and that with time, effort, and perseverance, we can achieve things that we once thought were impossible. The cultural shift toward embracing failure, creating an environment that celebrates failure. As individuals, we can work on changing our own mindset toward failure, but for this shift to be truly transformative, it must also happen on a larger scale. We need to create environments, whether in our workplaces, schools, or communities, that celebrate failure as an essential part of success. One of the biggest barriers to embracing failure is the stigma that surrounds it. Many people are afraid to admit their failures or share their mistakes because they fear judgment, ridicule, or rejection. This fear stifles creativity, innovation, and progress. When people are afraid to fail, they are less likely to take risks, try new things, or push the boundaries of what is possible. To counter this, we must foster a culture that encourages risk-taking, experimentation, and learning from failure. We can look to companies like Google as examples of organizations that have embraced this mindset. Google is known for its moonshot projects, ambitious, experimental initiatives that have a high risk of failure. The company understands that not all of these projects will succeed, but it also knows that the ones that do succeed can have a transformative impact. By embracing failure as a natural part of the innovation process, Google has created an environment where employees feel empowered to think big, take risks, and pursue groundbreaking ideas. Creating a culture that celebrates failure requires leaders who are willing to model this mindset. Leaders set the tone for their organizations, and when they are open about their own failures and the lessons they've learned, they give others permission to do the same. By sharing their experiences and encouraging others to take risks, leaders can create a safe space where failure is not feared, but embraced as a valuable part of the journey to success. The role of leaders and influencers. Leaders and influencers play a crucial role in shaping the way failure is perceived within organizations and communities. When leaders are open about their own failures, they send a powerful message. It's okay to fail. In fact, it's expected. By sharing their failures and the lessons they've learned, leaders humanize the process of success and make it more accessible to others. Take, for example, the story of Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. Blakely is one of the youngest self-made female billionaires in the world, but her journey to success was not without its challenges. In interviews, Blakely often talks about how her father encouraged her to embrace failure from a young age. Every week, he would ask her and her brother what they had failed at that week. When they shared their failures, he would celebrate them. Not because they had failed, but because they had tried something new and taken a risk. This mindset helped Blakely develop the resilience and determination needed to start Spanx, a company that has revolutionized the fashion industry. Blakely's story is a powerful example of how leaders and influencers can shape the way failure is perceived. By celebrating failure and the lessons it brings, they create an environment where people feel safe to take risks, explore new ideas, and innovate. This, in turn, leads to greater creativity, productivity, and ultimately, success. Practical steps to embrace failure. Setting goals and taking risks. Embracing failure as a pathway to success is not just about changing our mindset. It also requires action. One of the most effective ways to embrace failure is to set ambitious goals that push you out of your comfort zone and into the realm of possibility. These goals should be challenging enough that there is a real risk of failure. The purpose of setting such goals is not to guarantee failure, but to create opportunities for growth and learning. When you set ambitious goals, you are forced to stretch your abilities, to think creatively, and to take risks. You may not achieve your goal on the first try or even on the 10th try, but each attempt will bring you closer to success. The key is to view each failure as a stepping stone, a valuable part of the learning process that is helping you get closer to your goal. Taking risks is an essential part of this process. It's easy to stick with what you know, to play it safe, and to avoid the possibility of failure. But true growth and success require taking risks, trying new things, and pushing the boundaries of what is possible. The more you step outside your comfort zone, the more you will grow, and the more likely you are to achieve extraordinary success. Reflecting on failures. Another important step in embracing failure is to reflect on your failures and learn from them. When we experience failure, it's natural to want to move on as quickly as possible, to brush it off and focus on the next opportunity. But if we don't take the time to reflect on our failures, we miss out on the valuable lessons they can teach us. One way to reflect on your failures is to keep a failure journal. In this journal, you can document your failures, the emotions you experienced, and the lessons you learned. This process of reflection allows you to gain insights into what went wrong, what you could have done differently, and how you can improve in the future. It also helps you to see your failures as part of a larger journey rather than as isolated incidents. Reflecting on your failures can also help you to develop greater resilience. When you take the time to analyze your failures and learn from them, you are better prepared to face future challenges. You become more confident in your ability to overcome obstacles, and you develop a deeper understanding of what it takes to succeed. Conclusion. So, what does all of this mean for you? It means that if you truly want to succeed, if you want to achieve your greatest potential, you must be willing to fail. You must be willing to step outside your comfort zone, take risks, and embrace the possibility of failure. You must be willing to learn from your failures, to grow stronger and wiser with each setback, and to keep moving forward no matter how many times you stumble along the way. Success is not about avoiding failure. It's about embracing it. It's about understanding that failure is not the end, but the beginning of something greater. It's about recognizing that the path to success is not a straight line, but a winding road filled with twists, turns, and unexpected detours. It's about having the courage to keep going, even when the journey is difficult, and the resilience to rise above every setback. Let these words be your guide as you embark on your own journey to success. Embrace failure, learn from it, and use it as the foundation for your greatest achievements. Remember, the only real failure is the failure to try, so go ahead, take risks, make mistakes, and fail boldly. Because in the end, it is through failure that you will find success. We hope you enjoyed today's video. We look forward to seeing you in the next one. If you found value in our content, please don't forget to share and subscribe. Thank you.